What's up, nomads? We are bringing this episode to you from the beaches of Nha Trang, Vietnam, but we are taking this episode all the way to the heart of Medellín, Colombia, to sit down with someone who has been reshaping how remote professionals experience freedom. I'm your host, Jared Avanishan. Welcome back to the Next in Nomad podcast. And I'm so stoked to be joined by Maria, who's one of the forces behind the Stay Group and the creator of one of the most talked about spaces in Medellin, Kiin Living and Versus Hotel. So now this episode isn't just about hotels or co-living. It's about building intentional, freedom-focused spaces where digital nomads can actually thrive. We're diving into the design, the mindset, the entrepreneurship, and what it really takes to create a lifestyle brand that supports both productivity and community. We'll talk about the vision, the challenges, and the evolution of what freedom looks like once you finally break free from that 9 to 5. So if you ever dreamed about designing a life or maybe even starting up an online business that lets you live on your terms, well, this conversation is going to light a fire under that ass. Maria, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited for you to be here. Maybe just tell us a little bit more about like how Colombia is this time of year, especially Medellin. And I've never personally been to Colombia. And I want to also, before I do that, I want to give a big shout out to our friend Derek Skoll, who's been a big friend of the podcast, who actually introduced us to together to make this podcast happen. So I just definitely want to give a big shout out to him. But yeah, to maybe go back to that, maybe just take us back to what it's like in Medellin this time of year.
Thank you, Jared, for the invitation. And thank you, Derek, too, for connecting us. Well, Medellin is basically a paradise of full spring. We have sunny days every day, perfect weather, not too hot, not too cold. And for me, I'm not even from Medellin. I'm from Bogota, but I moved for work to Medellin, and I've been loving it so far. It is just a perfect paradise that combines nature and a lot of spaces for you to focus on your job.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot about how there's a lot of digital nomads there. It's become a pretty big space for remote workers and digital nomads. It would from what I've been heard and what I've been told is that it rivals, it'd be like considered like one of the Balis of the Americas, where a lot of people are kind of thriving to that part of the world, but a lot of people also thrive and kind of navigate towards Medellin, Colombia. Would you say that that's pretty accurate?
Yes, yes. So Medellin has been growing its digital nomad community right after COVID, I would say. Um, Basically, it offered like cheap accommodation, great food, a lifestyle of like fitness and wellness. And I feel like these kind of things are really look forward to in the digital nomad community. And also, what happens here is like you have two types of digital nomads. You have the travelers that come maximum for 3 months, but also you have the people that come for the first month and they really fall in love and they just want to keep extending their visas. So we do have these two types of travelers, and these are the two types of travelers that we as also like as a city are really looking forward to welcome.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, I've did some research on the properties, and they absolutely look beautiful. They're state of the art. They're so clean and just like very modern for what you would. It's very similar to what you would see in Bali. Like I'm obviously in Southeast Asia, and it's got that similar vibe, and I think that that's what people are really craving because I think when you think back on the digital nomad mentality and lifestyle, everything is about like mind, body, and soul. Because I personally believe that when you focus on those areas, that's where success starts to come in the entrepreneurial mindset. So maybe just tell us a little bit about what Kiin Living and the Stay Group is all about, and what inspired the creation of these two properties, and why Medellin. Why did you guys choose that part of the country to put those properties?
Perfect. So I had the opportunity to join Stay Group in back in 2022, end of 2022. And Stay Group was like a company that came from the real estate development company. So within our history, Dream, who's the development company, They were building many different hotels within the city, and then they just fell in love with hospitality, and they were like, okay, we just want to build them and operate them too. So that's how Stay Group becomes alive. The first building we had was Wake. Wake was built back in or opened back in 2021, and Wake won different prizes for like its architecture and everything. And then Versus, that's when I joined the team. I was the operating manager, opening manager there. Versus was a concept of giving um, this concept of the wholeness, which was targeting everything you need as a human being, starting from your food. Everything we serve guests was like based on four pillars: no added sugars, no seed oils, only free range proteins, and everything cooked with filtered water. Um, that was like the experience we wanted to offer our guests. Then we have a whole floor on the third floor of the building, which is only focused on wellness. So we have the sauna. There is like the pool. We have a yoga shala. We have a library where we do like these kind of events. And then on the fourth floor we have a co-working space. So for Versus, what we wanted to do is just like basically offer all of these different things you need as a human being, or as a human being, in order to excel in every aspect of your life. And this was the first concept that was created, and the we wanted to create also a concept for locals to come in and basically get all these good habits you have. um and the main reason that we created like Versus was, if you come to Versus, like you can live at least 1% better after visiting us. Yeah. Then we open Kiin Living in 2023 December, and this was a full concept where one of the owners, his name is Raul. He was a digital nomad himself. So basically we wanted to create very luxurious and curated spaces for co-living, and the things we wanted to kind of share within our community was a co-working space, the sauna upstairs, the gym upstairs, and all the rooms are fully furnished, and they all only have like they all have a desk and everything, so they can really focus on performing the work. We do offer within the long stays at Kiin Living different agendas, like the yoga classes, Muay Thai classes, dancing classes. They're all within the rent. And basically, what we wanted to do is just offering a space where the digital nomad can come and basically just make it very easy to move from another country, and don't ask them for like a co-signer for the lease, or I mean, in Colombia you usually have to basically get involved into or register in order to pay utilities. You have to pay 3 months in advance, but we wanted to make it flexible for the travelers. You just need your passport, your credit card, you pay month by month, and we do your cleaning, your laundry. So it's basically living in
Oh, wow.
in a residential building where like everything we do is towards fostering the community and towards making your life easier, so you can really focus on just executing your work.
Wow, that's so cool. I mean, I know Derek spoke so highly of those places, and it sounds like a nomad paradise or even an entrepreneur paradise. And I mean, you could even go a step further for a paradise for somebody who just really loves the healthy living lifestyle. Um, as somebody who does that myself, I mean, I think this is like it's incredible that you guys have been able to combine all these different components that I feel like it's like the new way of living. So I guess like what inspired the stay group to kind of focus on all these areas? Like what was that? What do you know what the whole vision behind this was and why they decided to kind of put together all of these different aspects of the human lifestyle and healthy lifestyle and kind of mold it into one.
Yes, of course. So we really wanted to this really comes from the founders. So there's like four founders, but there is specifically one which is David. He's our CEO, and he is the one teaching us basically all of these good habits. And what we wanted to be was not only like a normal hotel chain or hospitality chain in Medellin, but a hospitality chain that really was focused on making every guest that visits our properties at least 1% better. So this comes with all the experience within the gastronomic industry. Every product we use is very organic, very range free, and all of the pillars I just told you about. Um, all the events are really adding value to your life. So it's not only like the corporate events we do, but also like the masterminds we do, the sound healing and breath work. So we're really targeting every aspect of a human life in terms of wellness, in terms of mindfulness, in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of fun too. And basically, what we wanted to do is just basically operate every property that really adds value to you as a guest in any of our properties. So that's basically the main inspiration behind Stay Group. And something funny I said to Derek as well is like, mm, after after starting working with Stay Group, me myself, I have very bad habits. And for example, now I'm a totally different person, more focused. I change partying and alcohol to hikes now, and it really not only kind of affects positively their guests, but also their employees.
Oh, amazing. And it's so crazy because, like, when you give up those things and you start, looking for that dopamine in another aspect, like hiking and just like healthy living, you just feel so much better and there's so much more rewarding at the end. So kudos to you for being able to transition your lifestyle and taking this experience and actually making it an impact on your own personal life. So I guess like one of the things I'd love to even know too is like what role does the intentional design play into supporting a remote workers mindset? Like, do you find that you guys get a lot of pushback, or do you guys find that people are intentionally coming to your properties for everything, not just for the beauty of what you guys offer, but for the whole package of what you guys offer?
100% it's for the whole package we offer because any hotel has rooms, right? Any hotels have
Yeah.
maybe restaurants, right? But the fact that you are really valuing not only have a normal room, but a room that is really designed to just rest, like in one of our other properties called Seista, which means siesta. Yeah. Um,
Yes.
or whenever you have the co-working spaces like at Versus or at Kiin, where you have like private Zoom rooms, private meeting rooms. I feel like the intention is not only having a co-working, but also like a co-working you can share where you can have your meetings. At Kiin specifically, we designed this app called Stay, and it's like a concierge building app where you can order everything while you're in your meetings. You can order your coffee, your food, and they'll bring it to wherever you are, either if you're in the rooftop, in your room, or at the co-working space. So everything is very high tech, and what we think people really value is that they don't have to worry about, oh, I need 2 hours to eat, or it's just like, I know I want this food at this time because I just have half an hour because I have calls back to back. And then you can just order everything through your app. So everything is very optimized. And I feel like people in this era, specifically digital nomads, they value a lot of their time. So we're just really seeking to execute faster, just make it better. And specifically, just what we offer and what we deliver just adds value to either your nutrition, your sleep, your focus, everything. Like all the designs are well thought like that.
Amazing. And I guess like on a scale of for the to maybe touch base a little bit on Medellin in itself, what is made Medellin kind of become this nomad hotspot? Like what is it? Is there like initiatives that the government is doing, or what is it that's I mean, it's in the jungle, obviously. I mean, I think it's the number one hotspot in the world right now for like mountainous living in the digital nomad space, or like one of the top two at least. But like, what is it that draws people to Medellin?
Mhm. So it's funny you ask because at the beginning I was like, when we opened Kiin Living, the second month we were already at 80% occupancy, and this is not really what happens usually when you open a property. And we did some some interviews to our residents, and we were like, okay, so why did you choose Medellin? And basically, what they said is like the time zone is very similar to the US, where most of their business are. The weather, 100%, it's like one of the big factors. Just having sunny days, really, really, it's like life changing, and they also say like it's a perfect hub where you find nature very close to you and also have this entrepreneurial community that you can also start networking with. So I think the value of that is what really Medellin is taking why Medellin is taking over. And specifically after this past year where we when we opened Kin, the Chamber of Commerce, the mayor's office, the Secretary of Development, they started like reaching to us to understand why it is important to keep on bringing this digital nomad community. In Medellin, we unfortunately have a lot of sex tourism too, but the digital nomad community is another type of traveler. They don't really do Lost or anything. So this is the real tourist that all of these governmental entities wants to target. So we're doing different investments. I'm also part of the of one of the clusters of the Chamber of Commerce in Medellin because they want to really understand how we can make we're still making the city better in order to keep on welcoming all these travelers that we as a city we need, and we also want to just make it more comfortable, more easier. What are the challenges that we have as a digital nomad coming to Medellin in terms of your visa or in terms of your, I don't know, finding real housing, or what are these things that maybe the government can help us in order to just make it even better.
And would you say that like the the visas are like, I guess how would I phrase this? Like, um, is it pretty easy to get visas? So obviously from like the more, popular countries, obviously some countries have more challenges when it comes to getting a visa for certain countries, but like sticking to like, like the Americas, the European countries in Australia, New Zealand, like is it pretty easy, and how long do those visas last for? And like is there ways that are people having to do visa runs to maybe extend their visas, or is it pretty a simple process?
Yeah, so most of the travelers, I mean, of course, depending on their nationality, but most nationalities can just come to Medellin for 90 days. And then while you're on those 90 days, you can extend for another 90. You can just do the request online. That's a very easy process for another 90 days, right? So after that, you would have to request a digital nomad visa, which is up for like 2 years. Uh, and what was happening last year was that everyone was applying for the digital nomad visa because they wanted to keep on extending their stay here in Medellin. So maybe the process was taking a lot longer than before. So these are maybe the challenges that we're talking about, like just maybe make it a faster like service. So we're just like tranquil or chilling that we're gonna actually be able to stay here. Um, but basically as well, we were talking about how Medellin has also an opportunity to create these huge wellness centers where you can find all these ice baths, saunas, hyperbaric chambers, and all of this where they're really into it, but Medellin's still not a place where you can find that easily. In fact, we a state group we're gonna open another property into what's called Wake Bio Hotel, and this is gonna have the first longevity bar where we're gonna have all of these things. Um, but coming back to like maybe the new things we need to add in the city are like these wellness centers, very focused on like body recovering and longevity um focus. Um, the visas and basically they just love how beautiful and charming the people are here.
That's awesome. Yeah, and like now, obviously, there's a dark side, like you had mentioned, that there's a lot of like sex tourism in Medellin. Now, what is the crime like and the safety, I guess? Because obviously that's a big question that a lot of people will ask. And sometimes when you look online, you get skewed results. And obviously, I'm someone that doesn't really pay attention to anything. I rather just talk to somebody directly and just be like, hey, how safe is this place? Obviously, I feel like I'm smart enough to just basically use my head that, just be smart about what you're doing, what you're wearing, and where you are and where your surroundings are, where not to go. But I guess like on a coming as a local, like what would you say to the person who's maybe never been to Colombia? Maybe it's their first trip and they're outside of their Western world country and they're coming to, a country like Colombia for the first time. Like what advice would you give them, obviously, to kind of give them the ease? Because it is a question that a lot of people, I think, they miss. It's like a misconception that they think that, you know, Mexico is dangerous and Colombia is dangerous and Thailand's dangerous. But really, at the end of the day, like personally, I feel like they're some of the more safe areas depending on where you are. Now, would you be able to speak some truth to that and maybe just like give some ease to some of the people that might be listening for the first time that may not have done as much travel as some of the other listeners?
Mhm. Yeah, so for me, personally, it really depends on your lifestyle. So there is one of the main questions we ask our residents here at Kiin is like, how safe do you find this country? And they say 100% safe because they don't look for danger. So it's like basically if you're all the time partying or meeting girls in the street or in a club, there is an opportunity that you might get, uh, like I'm not gonna say like so sorry.
You
There
you
is
might
like there's
you
a
might
might
wrong attention.
Exactly. So you might draw the wrong attention and from the wrong people. If you're here in a third world country, because we're still a third world country, showing off your watch, your Rolex watch, or like your gold or your jewelry. I mean, there is still a lot of hunger here in Colombia. So don't show up like all of these things. We as locals, we don't even wear like expensive jewelries or anything because we know that that's an opportunity to some thief or some bad people to just come and rob you. So it's just like kind of just like common sense, I think. And it really depends on your lifestyle because if you have a lifestyle of entrepreneurship, wellness, just uh, masterminds, events, all of this, you are not gonna get exposed to that. And
Yeah.
none of my residents here have been exposed to that. And unfortunately, none of our clients or guests in the other properties are exposed to that because we also have a very strict policy of no sex tourism. So we rather just lose a client if they intend to bring this kind of woman like prostitution or anything than allowing that to happen in our properties.
Which is so good to have that you guys have that policy because, when you do travel around, like, I mean, I lived in the Dominican Republic for 6 months and you do see it. It's not very common, but it does happen. And, you do see some of that stuff over here in Vietnam as well. Um, but it is nice to see that when you're spending the kind of money and investment into yourself, into a property where you're basically a lifestyle that's giving you the whole lifestyle that you are protected from that environment if you don't want it. and which basically just eliminates it all. I think it's such an important piece that I think a lot of people you want to maybe obviously you want to attract the right people because everybody is there for personal and professional growth. Now I guess like what's the longest that some people stay at your guys' properties? Like, do you guys have people that stay for more than a year when they or do they travel around or have people made like your property as like a full-time home?
Yeah. So for King last year, we calculated our like monthly occupancy, and it was 5 months. So 5 months is we do month to month contracts, but people just they book like, yeah, I'm gonna try 1 month and then keep on extending. I have guests. I have like 10 guests that have been with us since the day we opened the property. They really make this place a home, and it's a different environment when you just can stick to your routine rather than changing and moving and moving. So for them, it's really important to just wake up, go to the gym, go to the sauna, go to the jacuzzi, come down. One of our servers give you your favorite drink for the morning, if it's matcha, uh, oatmeal, cappuccino, whatever you like to drink, because we get to this point where we already know what time you're coming down, what's your favorite drink, what do you eat at what time. And then
Sounds
they,
imperative.
yeah, they just go back, work, then they come down for lunch, they chat a little bit with our staff, with me, with our concierge. It's a different vibe. And I was also telling Derek that after working at Kiin, which is a different thing, when you work in hotels, I come from hospitality. When you work in hotels, you don't really get to know every guest as deep as in a co-living, because you like basically we see each other every day. And part of me changing also my, let's say, my bad habits, it's having that mirror of seeing all of these people very disciplined, very into their purpose, very into their goals. It really inspires you and makes you like want to keep growing. And I was also telling them like, you guys always worry about just taking from Medellin and not giving back. But I would say that you're already giving back, because you give back a way of like living different. And the more you as a local get in touch with these digital nomads and get to know their lifestyle, you change your mindset to be a better version. So that's already like giving back by example.
That's awesome. I love the fact that you guys just understand when a certain person's in their certain routine, when they're coming down and what their favorite drink is and all that stuff. Like that's like a home mentality where you just kind of feel welcome. So that's really cool. I think that's such a would be such a unique thing to kind of go through. Now, um what I guess, in terms of I guess what was I gonna ask here? Like when you look at where what Kin is doing now in or say Stay Group is doing in Medellin, Colombia, like is there any like plans to like grow this business outside of Colombia or even Medellin and to other locations? Or is this kind of just where you guys want to build like your hub and maybe focus on this particular part of the country?
Um, so basically, we are focused for the moment in Medellin. Just because like our founders are all from Medellin, and they really have this beautiful purpose of bringing the city different properties that actually have or add value not only to the travelers but also to the locals. Um, but there is definitely like maybe some projects to expand, um, but not very official yet. So there is some projects, but not official yet. We have a property we operate in Madrid, in Spain. It's called Seista Madrid. That's like five, sorry, no, like four apartments, fully furnished, very beautiful in the city center. Um, but in terms of maybe uh, opening a Kiin living in other in another city in another country. It's something we've talked about, but it's not official yet. Mhm.
Yeah, that's I think it's super interesting because obviously like traveling myself, I've seen so many different properties, but nothing, at this. And I think it'd be so cool to come down and see this place at some point. What kind of rooms like do you guys offer? Obviously at let's maybe focus more on the co-living place. Like do you guys
Mhm.
offer, is it studios, one bedrooms, two bedrooms? Like maybe take us through like what each room kind of offers maybe in some sort of different capacity.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So we do have different categories. We have studios, which are like 64 square meters. We have suites that are 95 square meters. We have suites with two rooms, one master and one guest room that are 123 square meters. And the biggest deluxe we have is two master bedrooms that are 146 square meters. So it really comes to our maximum occupancy in any category will be like 4 people. And then for the studios and the suites, it'll be like 2 people for couples or for solo travelers. They all come fully furnished with a desk where you can work if you feel like working from your house. I mean, from your apartment. Every apartment has a beautiful balcony with beautiful views to the city. Medellin has beautiful views in any part of the city because it's a valley. Mm,
Mm.
and then everything is fully furnished in the kitchen if you feel like cooking. Or and we have like delicious mattresses. Like everyone said, like your mattress is incredibly delicious to sleep. and and these are like the four categories. Within the rent, we include daily cleaning, we include laundry, we include also like a free massage per month in at our spa, and also all the different activities I told you about, like the yoga class, the dancing classes, Muay Thai. And what we tend to do is also every 3 months we send out like like a pool where they just select basically what I want to have in the next activities for the next quarter. So we tend to just like kind of mix a little bit, like not always yoga class, but maybe what are they wanting this quarter. So we're starting with Pilates classes this quarter too, and we are doing some community events once a month. Last weekend we were bowling with all residents, and this month we're gonna do a paddle tournament. So it's very nice when you just take them out from their working mode all the time and they just get to gather. It's cool.
Uh, that's really cool. And like, do the prices vary based on the seasons, or is it the kind of like the same thing? So like, I guess where I would be leaning with this question, the people that have been living there since the beginning, do they pay the same every month, or is it like based off of like seasonal pricing?
No, we set a fixed price per year. Every year we change prices. We set a fixed price and no, there is like no seasonality in our pricing.
Nice. Amazing. Yeah, no, this is like this it sounds like such an amazing property. And obviously, like I said, Derek is like I've saw the pictures, I saw the videos, and when he said he's like, you should have these guys on your podcast. And I'm so happy that I did because I mean the next plan for my wife and I is we're actually hoping to in the fall is go down to Central South America for a bit. We haven't decided
Mm.
where we're going to go. We do know that we are going to Paraguay to get our residency because it's just it's super easy. You only have to visit once a year. But Medellin is definitely on our list. And this property sounds like something that would be really, really cool to come and highlight for the viewers. But I guess like to start thinking about like wrapping the episode up here is what if you were based on the knowledge and the people that you've met, um, do you guys get a lot of like new first time travelers, or are you guys kind of bringing in a lot of more of the veteran travelers that are like, hey, I kind of want to have like a home base. Um, so I'm kind of trying to maybe just like, you know, showcase to people, you know, the lifestyle of what this whole digital nomad is. And obviously like there a lot of people do have the conception of like, the partying and all that kind of stuff. But for the people that are taking their career, their business seriously, obviously this is going to be more in terms of their vibe. Um, but would you say that like how would you, I guess, maybe describe to people that are coming and traveling for the first time about the community of being a digital nomad and what it does for you?
Yeah. That's a great question, and this is like part of places like from last year, which was like our full year of operations, and is you have you have two demographics. Like there is like the early 20s that are basically traveling and trying new destinations for like 3 months and then moving again, 3 months and moving again. That's also like a market we target. But there is the 28 years old plus that already have traveled and want a home base. And this is a mix in my community because I do have the young community that are travelers for like 3 months and above. And I have the 28 plus that are looking for a home base and they find that home base at Kiin. So I would say like it's the same traveler with the same kind of discipline and lifestyle and really looking for that goal, but maybe wanting to explore more other countries. That's the younger demographic. And then 28 plus, those are the ones that have traveled but really fall in love with Medellin. They'll probably find a Colombian girlfriend and really look to settle down here. So I'm basically 50-50 in my building. So the ones that have been with me since the beginning, that's the 28 plus demographic that already want to um yeah.
Yeah, they're the ones that are, like, kind of settling down, building some roots, and then, you got
Mhm.
those younger people that are still, traveling a lot. No, that's
Yeah.
really interesting. I think that this is, like it seems like it's like a digital nomad, I guess, entrepreneur, healthy living,
Mhm.
just a dream for all these different types of people. And I think that, when we think about, this is for me, this is why I got into becoming a digital nomad. I don't know how much you've kind of dug into my backstory, but like, my wife and I, we were stuck in the pandemic living in a cold, rainy city, throughout the pandemic, not being able to do much. It's like a black and white TV with how gray it is, not a lot of sun in the wintertime, couldn't go to a gym. And when I see people, what happened was we started seeing people on social media traveling and living in Bali, Mexico, places like Medellin or Cartagena, um, and just living their best life. Now, I know that obviously it wasn't like all rainbows and butterflies in those areas during the pandemic as well. But one thing that they did have is they had the sunshine and they had beach, kind of be able to live the healthy lifestyle that they've chosen to. And that's what inspired us to kind of do our travel. And now, here I am a few years later doing a podcast and trying to highlight that life as much as possible. So I guess like obviously I want to say thank you for
That's nice.
coming on to the podcast because I think that this is so important. I think this shows exactly what the dream is. In my opinion, the American dream or whatever you want to call it is this type of living where you can live in another country and a beautiful country with beautiful people and have culture and things with working with companies that are actually taking your health seriously and fitness seriously and mental health seriously. um, I guess I would love to maybe give you the chance to maybe just like let us know where we can connect with you and where people who are might be thinking or maybe they already have a trip booked to Medellin that they can come and check out the property
Mhm.
and maybe take this lifestyle in for themselves and take check every single box of healthy community access and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Thank you so much for also inviting us and having us in our in your podcast. I just wanted to add something that just popped up my mind, and it's like the community here works as well very well because these demographic that are like the 28 plus also they start working with the younger demographic, so basically they kind of mix and network in terms of helping or advising their business and everything. So I think it's very beautiful when you see them like all of the sudden being friends and then working together, and then they're like, oh, so they started working together. That's cool. So it's a very nice hub for connecting and also like potentially grow your business. In terms of how you can just reach out to us, we have our Instagram page, Kiin Living or versus hotels, or directly through our website, kiinliving.com. That's it.
Perfect. And I'll make sure that I have all the links down below. I actually did have
Mhm.
one more question. Like, do you mind even for the, especially for the
Yeah.
co-working, what are the
Mhm.
range of pricing that you guys have for the different the rooms? I mean, you don't have to list them all off, but I guess like from like the most affordable
Mhm.
to like, like the double master, what would that
Mhm.
cost about a month for all the access to everything?
Yeah. So we have a starting rate of 1800,000 up until 4,000 with the bigger units. Um if you try to find like I don't know, like a traditional rent in Medellin, you have to pay like 3 months in advance, then you'll have to hire a cleaning lady, then you have to pay for transportation to go to the gym. So it's really everything into one package, plus all of our community events and activities we do throughout the week. So
Yeah.
it is a very I mean for everything we do here and for all the exposure you have to the community to just basically we do everything for you. It's a very reasonable price.
Absolutely. I mean, even just because you have a co-working in there too, you have to, if you had a co-working, that you want to go work out of a co-work and not work out of your apartment all the time, that's an added cost as well.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I know that all that stuff adds up. So that having everything all in one just seems
Hmm.
such a, like it's a no-brainer. So, yeah, I want to say thank you
Yeah.
so much for taking the time out of your busy Friday. I know things are starting to, ramp up for your Friday today. I mean, my Friday is, I guess, where I am, it's kind of starting to dwindle away into the weekend for us. But thank you
Mhm.
so much. My wife and I, when we come down there, we are 100% going to come and check it out. And maybe we can do this again, and maybe we can
Please.
do it live on location, which we can actually do
Oh, yeah.
showcase more about the actual property itself.
Mhm.
I think that would be so cool to, do to kind of do that kind of collaboration if you guys were up for it. So I really do thank you
That would be
for
amazing,
coming on
100%.
today. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Thank you, Jared. And it's again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I appreciate, I'll give another shout out to Derek, for connecting us because this is one of the things that I love about the digital nomad community is that you just meet so many people from other places in the world, and you meet them and meet them, and then when you meet them in person, it feels like you've known them for your whole life. I mean, I've met people that I haven't actually met in person, just connected through online, and you just feel like you know them on such a deep level in terms of personal growth. So
Mhm.
I'm really, really grateful to have you guys come on, and just want to say thank you to everybody out there listening. Thanks for tuning into the Next Nomad podcast. Without you guys, we would be nothing. And my mission is just to showcase a different lifestyle that is out of the ordinary of what you normally do. Whether it's you're tired of that long commute, you're tired of the 9 to 5 grind of showing up to the office, all that kind of stuff. Whatever it is that you just think that you deserve more, I'm gonna tell you something, you do. You deserve whatever type of life that you want, whether you desire remote life, if you enjoy the office work, whatever it is, you deserve to have that type of lifestyle. So I thank you guys all for listening, and just want to let you guys know that if you are still considering the digital nomad lifestyle, you can go to the link in my bio. I do have a free course called The Mindset's Momentum that helps you rewire that brain so you can break free from that mold, that matrix, whatever you want to call it, rat race, 9 to 5, doesn't matter. There's 3 modules in there, and just get started today. You're never going to not regret it. You're always going to be inspired by the people that you're going to meet, and you have no idea where things could be for you in 2 to 3 years' time. But the decision starts today. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Maria. I really, really appreciate you guys coming on. Be brave, be bold, and we'll see you guys on the road. Cheers.